Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a really fascinating piece of source material from the ancient Indian epic, the Mahabharata, specifically a section from the Astika Parva. Now, on the surface, this might just read like classic mythology to some, but as we break down the text, you'll see this is truly an epic tale of survival, unbreakable prophecy, and the desperate hope of an entire species pushed literally to the absolute brink. We're going to explore how one family navigates having the actual weight of the world on their shoulders. Okay, let's dive into this. Seriously, think about it for a second. How do you save an entire race from prophesied destruction? In the universe of this text, the snake race is staring down a looming apocalyptic event known simply as the snake sacrifice. This isn't just some minor hurdle we're talking about. It is the ultimate ticking clock scenario. It represents total annihilation. Everything we are about to look at is fueled by the sheer existential panic of trying to stop this apocalyptic sacrifice from wiping them completely off the map. Section 1. The Looming Snake Sacrifice. A Race on the Brink. Our source material drops us right into an absolute crisis. Jaratkaru's husband, who is this powerful ascetic spending his life in severe penance, has suddenly just vanished into the woods. And when Jaratkaru delivers this calamitous news to her brother Vasuki, the king of the snakes, well, it throws him into utter despair. This is catastrophic because of the grandsire's prophecy. It was declared among the gods that only a son, born of Jaratkaru's specific union with her ascetic husband, possesses the energy required to save the snakes from the snake sacrifice. Vasuki literally arranged his sister's marriage for the sole purpose of producing a savior for his people. So when this mighty rishi just walks away, the whole species is instantly plunged back into jeopardy. Without a child from this exact union, there is zero chance of survival. Section 2. A Brother's Desperate Plea. Fear of the Rishi's Curse. So Vasuki has to confront his sister to ask her the single most high-stakes question possible. Has she conceived a child? Now, he totally acknowledges it isn't proper for him to pry into such intimate matters. But as a leader, the gravity of his people's survival absolutely demands that he ask. He is a king trapped between diplomacy, family boundaries, and the literal end of his race. And this brilliantly illustrates the stark contrast between these two characters. Vasuki is paralyzed by crushing anxiety. He desperately wants to force the Rishi to return, but he admits he's too terrified to pursue the obstinate man into the woods. He's terrified of being cursed. He is entirely fear-driven here. But Jaratkaru? Her response is the total opposite. She offers calm certainty. She doesn't panic. Instead, she holds immense, steadfast faith in her husband's unbreakable word. To immediately ease her brother's terror, Jaratkaru shares exactly what her mighty ascetic husband told her right before he departed. He promised her, "A son shall be born to thee, resplendent as the blazing sun." She assures Vasuki that her husband is a man of severe penance who has never spoken a falsehood in his entire life, not even as a joke. Why would he start lying now on such a world-altering occasion, right? Because of this rock-solid promise, she tells her brother to let the deep sorrow cherished in his heart entirely disappear. The savior is already on the way. Moving on to Section 3, the two-word prophecy, the literal meaning of destiny. Now, what's really interesting about this part of the text is the fascinating linguistic pivot. When Jaratkaru actually asked her husband about offspring right before he left, his direct reply wasn't some long, drawn-out speech. It was essentially a single, definitive phrase that locked in the destiny of the snake race forever. When she asked about the child, the high-souled ascetic simply replied, "There is." That's it. 2 words in English translation. And that phrase translates directly to the name, Astika. It's an incredible realization when you think about it. The savior of the snake race gets his very name from his father's final, truthful declaration that an heir indeed exists. He is quite literally the embodiment of the phrase, "There is." Destiny is baked right into his identity before he even takes his first breath. Section 4. Birth of the Savior. Reliever of ancestral fears. With the meaning of the prophecy firmly established, all that crippling doubt is replaced by joyous acceptance. It starts right at stage 1 with conception and that undeniable promise of "there is." Then, in stage 2, the text uses this incredibly evocative imagery to describe the passage of time. It tells us the embryo develops with great splendor, like the moon in the heavens in the bright fortnight. It's so poetic, right? It gives us a real sense of a growing, inevitable light piercing through the darkness of their previous despair. Finally, stage 3. In due time, a child is born, radiating what the text calls celestial splendor. You can actually feel the immediate release of tension leaping right off the page here. Upon hearing about the child, Vasuki joyously declares, "Be it so." The crushing weight on his shoulders just vanishes in an instant. He honors his sister with his absolute best regards, showering her with immense gifts of wealth and fitting eulogies. The terror of the looming snake sacrifice is finally countered. Hope has officially returned to the Snake Palace because they finally have the reliever of their ancestral fears in their arms. Section 5. The Making of Asarika. Reared in the Snake Palace. So the crucial point here is that it's one thing to be born a prophesied savior. It is quite another to actually become one. Astika's greatness wasn't just inherited by blood. He's reared with immense care, right there in the palace, studying the Vedas under another mighty ascetic named Chiavana, the son of Brigu. Despite just being a young boy, he holds incredibly rigid vows. He's gifted with massive intelligence and, fascinatingly, a profound gravity. It's like an adult seriousness in a child's body. The text specifically highlights his virtue, his saintliness, and his total freedom from worldly indulgences. He is intensely disciplined to fulfill his world-saving destiny. And to truly cement his immense power, the text makes a striking comparison. It says, Astika grew day by day as the delight of all the snakes, resembling Mahadeva, which is Shiva, of the golden form, wielder of the trident. Now, that is an enormous mythological weight to place on a young boy. By invoking the image of the golden Mahadeva, the text is solidifying Astika's divine capability. It's signaling to the reader that this rigorously educated, deeply serious boy is unquestionably strong enough to step up and stop the sacrifice. Which leads us perfectly back to a final, really thought-provoking question to leave you with today. How can a simple two-word promise of "there is" reshape the destiny of an entire species? It is absolutely amazing to see how the precision of ancient language in this text is tied so directly to the very real physical stakes of survival. The next time you make a promise, think about the immense weight of your words, because for the snake race, a single truthful phrase was the only thing standing between them and total destruction. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive in the Explainer. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.